So I want to raise some central question. First of all, when we speak, well, the title here is Between the Second and the Third World, which expresses probably, of course, some feeling that was expressed some years ago by a Polish historian, Gary Meck, saying we were hoping to go towards the north and we are going towards the south. It is a kind of disillusion of a certain part of the people from Eastern Europe, hoping perhaps to join the core developed countries of capitalism and sharing the most developed aspects, some often hoping that it will be more the Swedish model than something more, let's say, neoliberal, but at least hoping to share some democratic features also of the old Europe and so on. So 2089 has been presented often in the West, and I am questioning you, as a broad democratic revolution, as if the choices were made by the people themselves, going towards what, living what. So that's a question I'm raising to you. What is sure is that 20 years later, that is in 2009, the crisis which began in the core capitalist countries in the United States and then in the Western Europe and so on, arrived in Eastern Europe. And I think it's a new period now, since 2009, I would say, for questioning the last decades. That is, what were the aims for the people themselves here of the changes, who decided, and what were the results. The neoliberal, that is the, don't mind, the kind of economist which share some dominant, let's say, theories and dogmas about the way to be efficient, were saying that market and privatization, generalized market and generalized privatization would lead to efficiency and democracy. This is a kind of equation which was given in the whole world, and especially in Eastern Europe. I think that Eastern Europe functioned for the Western capitalism as a laboratory to implement very radical flat tax on capital, very radical opening to foreign direct investment in financial sectors, and to implement very radical flexibility, because if you want to attract foreign direct investment as the main source of financing, you must reduce taxes on capital, and you must destroy social protection. So this is the global effect for Eastern Europe, but it is not only the global effect for Eastern Europe. And that's my point to finish with. My interpretation is that Western Europe is in transition towards Eastern Europe, and not the other way around. That is that the social disintegration of Eastern Europe has helped, for instance, German capitalism. In comparison to 19th century, 20th century kind of international relationship and so on, where core countries could use neocolonial policies in order to stabilize their own kind of society and increase wages in a way also, and the level of life and so on, and stabilize capitalism in a way. And now we are in a situation where no one is winning on the point of view of working class. That is, competition is against everyone. And the next step, which is the final point I make, the next step is not the end of capitalism and not the end of privatization and market. It's a new phase, whatever be the name you call it. It's a new phase which raises the need of strong state, strong institution, not democratic procedures, because it is a new step to impose more than ever competition to decrease wages, like it is imposed in Greece, in all the peripheries and in the core countries, and to attack now social services. That is, it is said that it is not, there has been not enough privatization, not enough flexibility, and that is a kind of capitalism of the 19th century. It's not the third world. It's the 19th century kind of capitalism for everyone. So I do share what has been said about the need of a socialist answer, but the problem is because of the experience, we have to deal about the organization, democratic organization of a socialist answer, which means that I would not share any formulation about taking power by a group or by a political organization like that. That is, that there is, of course, for all of us in the world and all of radical left who wants not to keep capitalism as an horizon, the need to discuss of political activity which should not belong simply to party, which should not belong simply to any kind of vanguard, but involve really human being in social activities and broad front, combining role of parties, trade unions, social organization, inventing the form of politics. I agree with what has been said even by Boris, I think, on the fact that self-organization is not sufficient, democratic self-organization, mobilization is not sufficient. There is a need, but I don't believe someone has to say what to do. So the problem is how to build that collective actor, pluralist actor.